Imagine waking up one morning and every thought that usually buzzes in your mind simply fades away. No worries about the past, no anxiety about the future, just a quiet stillness that feels almost unreal. It's not emptiness in a negative sense, but a space where clarity begins to take root. Most of us live with a constant mental chatter, ideas colliding, emotions swirling, and tasks piling up. We forget that the mind is like a river. If it keeps rushing, it erodes its own banks, never letting peace settle in. What if you could pause that river just for a moment and watch the water settle calmly? This is the essence of emptying your mind. It's not about ignoring thoughts, nor is it about suppressing emotions. It's about observing without attachment, letting your awareness drift gently like a leaf on a calm stream. Consider how often your mind races during simple tasks. You cook, but your thoughts are already planning tomorrow's work. You talk, but part of your mind is replaying yesterday's mistakes. And through it all, stress accumulates quietly, slowly, unnoticed until it's overwhelming. What if you could create a space within yourself where clarity could flow uninterrupted? A space where creativity could arise naturally, without force or strain. A space where your inner voice isn't competing with noise, but simply communicating clearly. By taking the first step toward emptying your mind, you're inviting stillness. And in stillness, you reconnect with yourself. You remember that beneath the surface of constant thoughts, there's a calm, steady presence always available to you. This process isn't instant, nor is it always easy. It requires practice, patience, and a willingness to observe rather than control. But even a few minutes of conscious emptiness can reset your mental landscape profoundly. So, what does it truly feel like to empty your mind? It feels like taking a deep breath after holding it too long. It feels like standing on the edge of a vast, quiet ocean and hearing nothing but the gentle rhythm of waves. And most importantly, it feels like freedom from the endless loop of unnecessary thoughts. After experiencing that first taste of mental stillness, the next step is learning to maintain it. Life constantly challenges us with distractions, responsibilities, and obligations that tug at our focus. The mind will always wander, and that's completely natural. The key is not to chase away thoughts or force them into submission. Instead, you gently notice them and let them pass like clouds drifting across a wide sky. Some clouds linger longer, some are barely noticeable, but the sky itself remains untouched. Emptying your mind doesn't mean avoiding problems or tasks. It's about creating a mental pause between stimuli and reaction. When you pause, your responses become calmer, wiser, and more intentional. Try observing your own breathing as a starting point. Feel the air enter and leave your body, and let this rhythm anchor you. Every time a thought appears, acknowledge it and gently return to your breath. This practice trains your mind to disengage from constant chatter. It builds a bridge between being reactive and being conscious. And over time, you'll notice how much less energy is spent on unnecessary worry or distraction. Emptying your mind is also about releasing attachment to outcomes. We cling to expectations, whether about ourselves or others, and this keeps the mind restless. When you let go, even briefly, you create space for clarity, intuition, and creativity to emerge naturally. At first, it may feel uncomfortable. The mind resists silence because it's unfamiliar and old habits of constant thinking are strong. But each time you return to stillness, you reinforce a new habit, a habit of conscious awareness. This habit changes your relationship with thoughts, not by eliminating them, but by making you the observer rather than the captive. And once you step into this observer role, you begin to notice patterns in your thinking that previously went unnoticed. Patterns that may have been keeping you anxious, distracted, or overwhelmed. You also become more present. Moments once rushed now feel richer, more vibrant, more meaningful. The simple act of noticing life as it unfolds is a profound benefit of emptying your mind. As you begin to observe the space between your thoughts, something subtle yet powerful starts to happen. You realize that the mind has been filled with layers of noise, much of it unnecessary and repetitive. By emptying even a small corner of that noise, you allow room for new awareness to enter. This awareness does not shout or demand attention. It whispers gently, like a calm breeze brushing past your skin. It reminds you that beneath all the surface level thoughts, you already hold a deeper wisdom. When you empty your mind, you do not lose your identity or your memories. You simply step back and create distance from them. It's like standing on a hilltop and watching cars drive below. You see them, but you are not inside them. Many people believe that constant thinking equals productivity, but often, overthinking is just spinning wheels in the mud, exhausting energy without moving forward. Emptying the mind restores direction, clarity, and a sense of effortless action. Notice how great ideas often come in the shower or on a quiet walk. That happens because the mind is relaxed, free from forcing answers. Emptiness creates space for inspiration to flow naturally, without struggle. It's the same with emotions. When the mind is cluttered, even small problems feel overwhelming. But in stillness, emotions are seen clearly for what they are: temporary visitors, not permanent residents. Imagine anger arising within you. Normally, it may take over, leading to harsh words or regrettable actions. But when the mind is empty, you notice the anger, breathe through it, and allow it to dissolve. This doesn't make you cold or detached. On the contrary, it makes you more compassionate because you're no longer trapped in reaction. You choose your response from awareness, not impulse. The process of emptying your mind is not about escaping reality. It's about engaging with reality more fully, without distortion from endless thoughts. It's about seeing life directly, simply, and openly, just as it unfolds. At times, you will slip back into mental clutter. You may catch yourself lost in old worries or replaying conversations. That's natural. It's the mind's habit, built over years. But each time you notice and gently return to emptiness, you strengthen a new pathway. You remind yourself that silence is always available, like a still lake beneath the surface of waves. And with practice, the distance between stillness and noise becomes smaller. This journey is gradual. Some days feel calm and spacious. Other days feel restless and heavy. But even on restless days, the practice of emptying your mind keeps guiding you back to balance. Eventually, you realize emptiness is not the absence of thought. It is the presence of awareness, watching thoughts come and go without clinging. And in this awareness, peace becomes not a rare visitor, but a quiet companion. The more you practice, the more you discover that emptiness is not something you create. It has always been there, quietly waiting beneath the layers of thought. Like the sky behind the clouds, emptiness never disappears, it only gets hidden. This realization changes everything. You stop struggling to force silence or chase away thoughts. Instead, you simply relax into the awareness that is already present. Think of the mind as a room filled with furniture. Over the years, you keep adding chairs, tables, boxes, until the room feels crowded and suffocating. Emptying your mind is like clearing the space, making room to breathe again. In that empty room, sunlight streams through the windows more easily. You move more freely, you see more clearly, and you feel lighter. The room itself was never broken, it was only cluttered. The same is true with your mind. You are not trying to fix yourself. You are simply making space for your natural clarity to shine. This shift transforms how you experience everything around you. Conversations become deeper because you actually listen, not just prepare your reply. Work becomes smoother because you act with focus, not scattered attention. Even small joys, like sipping tea or watching the sky, become richer because you are truly present. But emptiness also teaches you humility. You realize that most of what you carry in your mind, fears, judgments, comparisons, are not who you truly are. They are temporary patterns, passing through, just like clouds in the wind. This freedom can feel both strange and liberating. Strange, because you are used to identifying with every thought. Liberating, because you finally see that you are more than the noise inside your head. Emptying your mind also helps you face challenges differently. Instead of panicking or drowning in overthinking, you pause. And in that pause, a wiser, calmer action arises naturally. This pause is not weakness, it is strength. It shows that you are no longer enslaved by every impulse. It shows that you can stand steady, even when storms pass through. As you continue, you may notice moments where thoughts disappear completely. What remains is pure awareness, silent, clear, and unshaken. That silence is not empty in a dull sense, but full of potential and presence. In such moments, life feels effortless. You are not trying to control, not resisting, not clinging. You are simply flowing with what is, and in that flow, peace feels natural. And this is the gift of emptying your mind. It is not about becoming blank or numb. It is about remembering the spaciousness that was always there, waiting to be rediscovered. As you spend more time in inner stillness, life itself begins to feel lighter. The rush of urgency fades, and you realize much of what once felt critical was never truly important. Your mind, once a restless storm, now opens like a calm sky where clarity flows naturally. Problems don't vanish, but your relationship with them transforms. Instead of being consumed by stress, you respond with patience and awareness. From that space, wiser choices arise and solutions appear without forcing. Relationships also shift because you no longer project your noise onto others. You listen more deeply, you speak with presence, and people feel calmer in your company. Emptying your mind not only benefits you, it quietly uplifts those around you. Think about the peace you feel when sitting with someone who radiates calm. They don't need to say much, yet their energy soothes you instantly. By practicing emptiness, you become that presence, carrying peace wherever you go. This stillness also reconnects you with yourself. The quiet inner voice, once buried under endless chatter, becomes clear again. It may guide you toward better choices, healthier habits, or forgotten dreams. In those moments, you realized peace was never something to chase. It was always within you, hidden beneath layers of constant thought. The practice simply helps you return to what was always yours. Of course, the mind will wander and old habits will return. But now you know the way back, and that makes all the difference. Each return to stillness strengthens the path until emptiness feels natural. Imagine waking one morning without mental clutter. No weight of yesterday, no fear of tomorrow, just the simplicity of this moment. The breath in your chest and the beat of your heart are enough. This is the essence of emptying your mind, not erasing thoughts, but holding them lightly, like clouds drifting across the sky. Not escaping life, but engaging with it more fully, without distortion. When you live from this space, everything changes. You act with clarity, speak with kindness, and walk with steady calm. And you discover that true strength often hides within quiet stillness. So when life feels overwhelming, remember this. Peace doesn't wait in the next achievement or distraction. It already lives inside the empty space you choose to create within.